my name is Max and this is Blue Ink Merch. Now, I came across a particular video. I've been following an athletic clothing brand, Elite Athletics, since 2015. Christian Guzman is the owner of Elite, and I've been following him on YouTube since then as well. He came out with a video late last year called How to Start a Clothing Business. Now, there's a particular part in that video where he talks about prints on garments. I myself am a screen printer, and I also press garments as well. As you can see my equipment in the background. So in that video, he speaks about what he prefers on garments. He prefers prints that feels like they're a part of the garment or that they're inside of it. He then compares a product that he produced for Elite, and he compares it with other brands where the prints feel like they're on top of the garment. Now, if you're new to prints on garments, or if you're trying to start a clothing brand and you're not familiar with this stuff, hopefully this video gives you some insight to help start your brand. Now, there's two parts into prints on garments. There's the screen printing side, and then there's the graphic design clothing brand side of thing. You as a clothing brand owner, you create your logo, you create your design, and then you submit it to a shop or the manufacturer. That manufacturer has a screen printer, such as myself. The first thing we do, we look at the design. When we look at the design, we look to see how detailed it is, what it consists of. As screen printers, we have something called a mesh screen. Now, this particular mesh screen is what helps us print your designs onto garment. These mesh screens, they come in different sizes. The higher detail your design is, the higher the mesh that we go. The higher mesh that we go, the less ink that we use. So this particular screen is a 230. And the reason for that, this print here, super tiny, right? A 230 mesh would help with tiny fonts like that. It means less ink coming through the mesh. So then when it comes onto the garments, it's not just a bunch of blob. It's not a bunch of ink on top of ink. It would come out just seamlessly, and it would come out just enough. So with that being said, less ink on garments would make it feel more like it's a part of the garment. There was a part in that video where Christian's now fiance, Heidi, mentioned that it was a water-based ink. In the screen print world, there's two different types of ink. There's water-based ink and there's plastisol ink. I myself am very familiar with plastisol. Water-based ink, on the other side, is very popular as well. But what's the difference between the two? Plastisol ink is heavier and more opaque, giving that vibrant look in your design. Water-based ink would feel like it's more part of the garment than plastisol would. It also is not as opaque and vibrant as plastisol. Plastisol is more like on top of the garment. If you've gone to Target in the men's department where the graphic tees are, you will find that a lot of those look very vintage. Any print that looks really vintage, even though it's a new shirt, more than likely that's water-based ink. Anything that is super vibrant, when you touch it, it feels kind of heavy, more than likely that is plastisol ink. There's also other methods such as heat pressing on garments. Using vinyl and such is a very, very popular way. DTF is now a new popular method as well. We can probably cover that in another video if that's something you folks are interested in learning more about. So as we stated before, Christian prefers prints that feels like they're a part of the garment. It sounds like there's been a bit of trial and error for him to get to that state that he wants it to be. And then he stated, I found out it's not in the print, it's in the design. So what does he mean by that? I actually knew exactly what he meant by that because I've been on the screen print side of things. Anybody else who hasn't really been in the screen print side of things, that might throw you off a bit. He went into talking about that particular garment. Now, the graphic design on that garment has a bunch of distressed designs on it. In his terms, he found out that adding more of the distress meant less ink on the garment, which then means that the print feels more part of the garment. And I happen to have the exact one. So if you take a look at this shirt, so this particular design has distress in it. Now, it's been washed a few times already. So when I show this up close, I can't even remember if the cracks in the yellow was part of it or not. But you can see that there's some distress in the yellow that looks like pinholes. That's the distress that he's talking about. There's some in the black as well. And with that being said, this type of design for him created that particular feel that he was talking about, where it feels like it's a part of the garment. It sounds like this was water-based ink, and with the high level of details in this particular design, more than likely his local screen printer used a higher mesh size, which means less ink in the garment. So does that mean that you have to add distress on every single one of your designs? No. It just means that you just need to have higher details in your logo if you truly want to lay down less ink. Now, a design that I have, and I'll show you guys right now, is one of our designs. Keep it on the lo-fi. So this particular design is a screen printed transfer design. If you want to know more about screen printed transfers, that could be in another video. Just comment down below if you want me to hop into that or not. So this particular design, you see a bunch of solid colors. That's all you see. There's no super high detail. There's no distress in it. There's no tiny little details that would require a higher mesh count. There's just a lot of colors. And you can see how vibrant this is. You can clearly see how vibrant this is. But you can also see that it's really just solid, and you can also feel the print on the garment versus the other one where it feels more like it's like you're just touching the garment and it's in the garment. This particular print, you can feel it on top of the garment. Somebody like myself, I don't mind this at all. I've felt different types of prints on garments before. I have felt super heavy prints on garments that I'm not a fan of. This to me doesn't feel heavy at all. I guess it just depends who's printing it. But somebody like Christian, if they prefer it to be more like within the garment where it feels like it's part of the grains and such, maybe looking at water-based ink or adding more details to add a higher mesh might do the trick. Now there's another print that I can show you guys. It's one of our blue ink merch prints, and I've watched this several times. Initially, when I printed it on the garment, it felt like it was on top of it, like the previous print you saw. After a few washes, if I bring this up close, you can actually see that it's become grainy, just like the shirt. It's now gone inside the grain is what it looks like and feels like. So it feels completely different now. All it took was just a few washes. I still love it though. It's still vibrant and it just feels like a part of it. Hopefully this video gives you a brief description of what you're looking for when it comes to prints on garment. If there's any other topic that maybe I can help cover, please comment down below what it is. If there's any other screen printers that would like to correct anything I've said, please do so. Comment. We're learning every day in this industry, and I've met some of the best people in this industry. So please help somebody like myself learn more. Otherwise, this is it. And if you guys want to learn about anything else, please comment down below. Let me know what else I can probably talk about. Hope you guys have a good one. See you in the next one.